Welcome to the AI for Technical Writers podcast by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 121.
I'm Daphne.
And I'm Fred. And this session was suggested directly by our producer, senior technical writer, Curt Robbins.
That's right. He handed us these sources, and they are just, packed with things that anyone documenting AI infrastructure needs to know right now.
Absolutely. And where are we pulling this from today?
The source material is all from recent LinkedIn posts. They came out about 2 weeks ago, right after the NVIDIA GTC event.
So it's very fresh.
Very. We're looking at what the official NVIDIA AI account posted, and more importantly, the comments from developers and strategists. You know, the people actually using this stuff.
It's like a real-time check of what the industry is actually thinking.
Exactly.
So our goal today is to really analyze the big shifts coming out of GTC that are going to define the AI infrastructure you'll be documenting.
And we're focusing on two main forces. First, these big hardware catalysts, and second, this massive push for open source software.
Right. So if you're writing deployment guides or integration docs or anything like that, this is stuff you probably need to know already.
Let's start with the hardware.
Okay, so the biggest splash at GTC, it wasn't even a product launch. It was a surprise gift.
Yeah, the golden ticket winner.
They literally rolled out a brand new NVIDIA DGX Spark machine and just gave it away.
And that moment got so much attention online. I mean, over 1,400 likes, tons of comments. But we have to look past the spectacle of it.
Because the DGX Spark is more than just a machine. It's a statement.
It's a huge strategic statement. I saw one comment from Natalie Du calling it a highly symbolic and strategic brand initiative.
So not just giving away a box.
No, not at all. They were giving away what another person called a catalyst for invention, a promise. It's about showing their leadership in high-performance computing, especially for generative AI.
I even saw Stephen Burke, who is a senior technical writer himself. He chimed in with congratulations. It clearly hit home with the tech community.
It did. But here's the interesting question. If everyone is moving to open source, which we're about to talk about,
Right.
Isn't a high-end machine like the DGX Spark just a commodity? Just a container for software anyone can get? Why all the hype?
That's a great question.
And that's where the nuance comes in for our audience. The DGX Spark, it's not just fast, it is purpose-built for the kind of computing models you need for large-scale Gen AI.
So it's about efficiency.
It's all about efficiency. The software might be opening up, but to actually train and deploy these huge models, you still need specialized hardware. That high-memory GPU architecture is key.
And people are already using it. I saw a comment from Joseph Xeng who said he already has one and finds it great.
Exactly. It's seeing immediate real-world deployment. So for tech writers, this means your documentation for, say, installation and implementation just got way more complex.
You have to talk about data centers, memory requirements, how to get the best throughput for these massive models. The bar is just much higher now.
And that's the perfect transition, really. Because that specialized hardware, it needs widely available software to really shine.
Which brings us to open source.
It brings us to the core message from GTC, captured in that one quote from NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang.
Oh, I know the one. He said, researchers need open source. Developers need open source. Companies around the world, we need open source.
I mean, that's not just a suggestion. That's a mandate.
It is. Open source has been around forever.
Yeah.
But framing it as a necessity, that feels like a real shift.
It is. It's establishing open source as the shared infrastructure of progress.
Yeah.
If the DGX Spark is the engine, then open source is the road that everyone has to drive on.
So why now? I mean, beyond the good PR, what's the real reason for this push?
Two things, really. Cost and velocity. One commenter pointed out that open models like Llama or Stable Diffusion, they slash the cost of entry.
Like Linux did for operating systems.
Exactly like that. It democratizes the tech. You don't need a huge budget for licenses just to start experimenting.
It means more people can innovate.
Right. And that's the velocity part. Another comment from Jordi de la Torre made the point that open source is really about sharing ideas to speed everything up.
So it's not just about sharing code.
No, it's about making that feedback loop faster and richer. You get these out-of-the-box thinkers challenging the status quo, and that's where the real breakthroughs happen.
So the bottom line for a technical writer is that you are no longer documenting a closed box. You're documenting how to plug into this huge, global, fast-moving ecosystem.
It's a fundamentally different job.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Technical Writers podcast. Before the break, we established that open source is now, sort of, the philosophical foundation that complements this high-end hardware.
Right.
So let's move from the philosophy to the practical side. What are the actual benefits for a team that switches from a proprietary API to an open source LLM?
Bentamel had a great breakdown of the operational advantages, and it all comes down to control.
Control is everything in an enterprise setting, isn't it?
It is. First, you get complete data privacy. Everything stays inside your own infrastructure.
Okay, that's huge.
Then, predictable cost. You pay for your computers, not per token, so your bill doesn't explode. And maybe the most important thing for performance is optimization freedom.
And that's where the documentation comes in.
Exactly. Technical writers need to guide users on how to tune everything, batching, caching, decoding to match their specific hardware. You can't do that with a black box ATI.
Plus, no rate limits, which is critical if you need reliable, high-volume performance.
Precisely. And we're already seeing the ROI on this. There's proof that it works.
Let's talk about the Quinn model. That comes from Alibaba Cloud, right?
Yeah.
With an Apache 2.0 license.
It's a perfect example. The results that Airbnb saw using Quinn are, well, they're stunning.
What did they find?
Their CEO shared that by using Quinn for their new AI customer service agents, the average time to resolve an issue went from 3 hours down to just 6 seconds.
Wait, 3 hours?
Down to 6 seconds.
That's not just an improvement. That completely changes the game for customer service.
And it had a real business impact. They saw a 15% drop in users who even needed to talk to a live person. The CEO said it was all about the speed and low cost of the open source model.
So that flexibility translates directly into a massive competitive advantage.
And it's not an isolated case. NVIDIA itself is integrating an open source Quinn model into its ACE platform for digital humans in video games.
So it feeds right back into the hardware side.
Mm-hmm. We're also seeing it drive progress in other areas like the AEC market, that's architecture, engineering, and construction, and the AI RAN Alliance is using NVIDIA's open source platform to accelerate AI-native 6G development.
It really is becoming the shared infrastructure for everything.
It democratizes innovation, which speeds up the creation of global standards for things like 6G.
Okay, the momentum is obviously huge, but we have to address the long-term health of all this. There was a really important question raised on LinkedIn by Esteban H. He asked, if all these big companies are relying on open source, who's paying the contributors and maintainers?
And that is the critical question, isn't it? It's the point of vulnerability in this whole shared infrastructure idea.
Because if these massive companies are building their businesses on free tools,
are they supporting the communities that build them, or are they just taking the code and running with it? For a tech writer, that's a real risk. The library you're documenting today, will it even be maintained a year from now?
It makes you think about the resilience of the whole pipeline.
And that need for resilience connects directly to the bigger global picture.
You mean geopolitics?
Yeah. Gabor Kuchala cited an OECD report about how geopolitical tensions are getting tangled up with research and innovation policy. AI development is now deeply tied to national security.
So things like the EU's interoperable R&I architecture?
Yeah.
That's not just about technical standards.
Not anymore. It's about security and compliance and trust in a very complex global market. For our audience, this means documentation will increasingly be governed by global policies.
Things like data sovereignty, compliance, security protocols.
Your docs have to be crystal clear about data lineage, where a model was trained, and any limitations based on geography.
So tying it all together for you, the technical writer, what's the big picture here? The narrative seems to be a hybrid one.
It is. You have specialized hardware, like the DGX Spark, setting the performance ceiling.
And then you have permissive open source software, like Quinn, setting the accessibility floor.
Your job is to document that middle ground, how to optimize an Apache 2.0 license model to run perfectly on proprietary NVIDIA hardware.
Covering everything from deployment architecture to license compliance.
It's a balancing act, and it requires a lot of diligence. But there's a final, sort of provocative thought to leave you with. If the foundation of the system you're documenting is a community-maintained project, How do you write about the structural risk? The vulnerability of that project, maybe not being funded or maintained in the future, that's the real challenge of documenting this new infrastructure of progress.
That is a very powerful question to think about. Thank you for walking us through all these critical shifts from GTC.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the AI for Technical Writers podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.